All right, it's time to get our container game on. Now I will say this right up front. I'm not putting the Coleus in this container yet because it's too darn cold. I've put a couple out and they're just dying on me. So our weather is just too chilly. So I will put that in when the temperatures warm up a bit. This container is going to be super full without it. So we're going to start here with what I have to put in here. And I'm just going to pull the stuff out as I show it. So I have some miscellaneous snapdragons to put in here. I am putting in here some beautiful Super Cal petunias, and I really loving the colors of these. And I need to pick off the dead ones, but they really need to get in. They're getting quite leggy, you'll see here. This container is going to be extremely vibrant. We're putting in an ivy here. Really nice, full, lots of green. And it needs to get in. It's kind of weeping from the cold too. So we'll get that planted. I did manage to get some dreamsicles, Super Bell's dreamsicle. It's one of my favorites. I love the brilliant orange. I am putting in some vibrancy with the Biden. It's a yellow Biden. Look at the color on that. Gorgeous, to add some height. We're also going to have some fun, and we're going to add bright lights. Horizon Sunset. Can't wait to see that one in this mix. I think it'll be pretty cool. Like I said, I'm going bold or I'm going home. I have put a canna in here already, you will see here, and that is Baluster. So it's an orange tone. The soil I'm using is a triple mixture of soil, and I'll show you that when we do the next container. It is a combination of compost, manure, and topsoil. So I don't have to add compost using this blend. I get it at Walmart at $2.68 a bag. It took me approximately about 3.5, 4 bags to fill this container. I already had it half full with some other stuff, so I added on top, so probably 2.5 bags to fill it. And then finally, right here is a yellow petunia that I love because it's so vibrant. The other things we have here to put in this mixture is I have a wave petunia because I'm trying to draw all the bright colors. And this one is gorgeous. This is wave purple. And sometimes they have a name, sometimes they don't. The reason I like this one in particular is because of the iridescence. And finally, to take this to another level, I have some good old Dusty Miller. And we're going to add some of that in here. So we have a really good variety of plants. So let's start putting them in. Oh yeah, and I did add a no-name fuchsia into this. And I'll show you it from the front. But I'm going to show you as I put these in so you can kind of see how this goes. So I put the petunia at the front and the fuchsia is right here. And I'll just turn the pot, and it's really heavy. We got a heavy rain last night and it really came down. So here is the fuchsia here. I think it's pinks and purples, so that should be okay. So we're going to put the big tall plants in first. So I'm going to start with the Biden right here, and we're going to put that in. I'm really excited about that. And I'm just going to stick the tag at the back. The wind has snapped some of these a little bit, so I'm just going to pick them off because it got super windy too last night and cold. So no wonder the Coleus are not happy with me today. So we will wait a couple more weeks. I have hardened them off and everything, but with this weather, it's just so unpredictable right now. You think we're having an early spring, and then we get crazy weather like this. So this is going to go off to the side right here. Just going to dig in, and I'll show you how we're dealing with mud from the rain. And I did, and I will come back and add some more fertilizer to this. I'll add some granular, and then I will be fertilizing with liquid. And I'm going to show you what I got this year for the liquid fertilizer that I'm going to use. All right, so we got a lot of color there. We got color there with the yellow and the yellow. Now we're going to come through and we're going to put that other daisy in because it's going to be tall. So this is the bright lights, and the bright lights is going to get to be approximately 8 to 12 inches. So we're going to come a little bit more forward with this one, and we'll just stick tag at the back. That's the only way I'm going to know what the heck I'm planting. I want to leave some room here for the Coleus to come in. Because I gotta have Coleus. It wouldn't be right with all the Coleus I grew not to be planting them out. But I suspect I'm not going to put them until June at this rate. I mean, we're already heading into the end of May, so we're getting close. All right, so we got a lot of yellows here. We need to break up the yellows over here. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to put the dreamsicle in and let it hang right here. And those are really cute little containers. I'm going to keep those for planting up, and we're just going to shove that in there. Okay. Now, for this arrangement, we're going to come back through over here, and we're going to put like my most favorite petunia right now. And if you're wondering where I got these at Rona, or otherwise formerly known as Lowe's. So we're going to come through, put these in, and I'm going to pinch them out. And we're going to put it probably right back here. This year I'm going so bold and so vibrant, you guys. It's going to be wicked. It'll either be really good or it'll be just a kaleidoscope of color that's just wild. I'm going to hope that it is really good and wild. And we're just going to pick these off as we go through and deadhead it right now. So the energy goes to new blooms. Normally I'd pick the buds off, you guys, but for the video I will leave them on so you can kind of see what we're going with this. Otherwise you won't get to see the colors. And I mean, they're vibrant. All right, now we're going to put the ivy right in front of this petunia right here. Stick that back there. And this is the German ivy. And it's really stuck in that container. There we go. Yeah, it needs to come out of that container bad. So, no, I didn't snap it. I was like, oh, I might have snapped it, but I didn't. And I'm just going to come down here and dig it into the front. And push her down and in, because I'm cramming these in thick. I want it to trail over, and I'll have to come back and prune it out a little bit. So you can see we're getting some real great filler there. All right, now we're going to put some more tall stuff in. So I have 2 snapdragons I want to add in here. And I'm trying to look at the bud and see what color is. So there's some pink or something in there. This could be a bit of a white or a yellow. Whoa, everything's going to blow on me. And we're just going to stick that right in here. More over to the side so it can pop up in between. There. And this one can come right back here. A little bit further back because it's taller. Starting to get pretty full. We need some hot pink in here to shock this. I'm going to have to pick my cans up all over the yard. So now we're going to do a wave petunia. And this one is wave purple. It doesn't really do it justice, but it's got hints of this pink. So I got enough tags in there. No, I don't. I'll have to leave the tag in the container because I won't know what color it is. So we're just going to come in here and dig that in. And we have room right here for Coleus. All right, and the last one we're going to add to this mixture is the Dusty Miller. And I know what this is, so I can just stick the tag here. I mean, this is an all-time cottage garden favorite. And she is rooted. But we need that pop of silver to change the consistency of this arrangement. And I think I'm going to use 2. Because once the Coleus comes in here, oops, I got 3, it'll make a huge difference on this. So I'm going to come in here and pop this right over here on the edge. I want to break up between the yellow and the hot pink. And then I'm going to pop this one a little further back, actually, since I have room. Now the only color I am missing in this bunch is a purple. So I'm thinking, I probably don't have room for a purple in here, but if I did, I would put it probably right here and it would be another petunia. But since I need to leave room for the Coleus, we'll leave it right there. All right, so that container is done. Now we're going to fertilize it, and I'm going to come back and prune some of these stems off the plant, pick out any petunias that are deceased, any buds that are deceased, to deadhead it, and then we'll do the next container. Okay, so we're going to add this pop of blue. I had to do it, couldn't help myself, so I just grabbed a pansy out of one of my trays, and we're just going to stick it in along the side over here. And I'm just going to pull some of this extra soil out that I have in the center and just backfill that. All right. Now I'm just going to deadhead these to clean it up. And then we're going to fertilize. And I'm going to grab my pruners and prune some of these stems here just to clean it up a little bit better. So I'm going to use the Miracle Grow Slow Release Granular in here. We're just going to go in here and just spread it around a little bit so everybody gets their fair share. And now I'm going to prune off anything that looks a little worse for the weather, I'll say. So these long stems here, like this, we're just going to clean off. And we're going to go through it and see if there's anything else. So you can see all the bright colors in here that we have. You have to excuse my hands, but it's really muddy. And I am just loving these. I've never seen these before, and they are just stunning. I'll show you up close the iridescence in it, so it should work well. All of these plants, they're kind of facing backwards, like the pansies facing backwards, will turn and face the west sun. So we will get the color there. But always containers look really crappy at the beginning, really skimpy, and then they poof out. So that's what we're going for with this arrangement. Bright and bold. Something different than what I did last year. I always try to change it up a bit. So let's do the next container now. Here is the next container we're going to do. And this is the soil that I'm using. It's Expert Gardener from Walmart. Black soil compost and peat moss is what's in it. It works really well. I've used it in my other containers. And at $2.68 a bag, can't go wrong. These bags are really, really heavy because we've been getting a lot of rain. I've had these sitting inside, keeping them in my vehicle. We're going to add some fertilizer now, just to mix it into the soil. And then I'll add some on top as well. Nice soil, nice, really nice soil. I'm impressed. Now, you guys are probably all wondering what color I painted my orb. Well, I did my favorite color, and it's very bright. It is orange. And let's hope that it works out with my plan. So we'll be carefully picking our colors for this one to make it beautiful. So I'm going to pin the orb down here so it doesn't keep moving on me. And kind of excited about this. It's kind of cool with the bright color. So the plants really need to hold it in. So I'm just going to hold it down there. And then put a couple on the other side. And then we're going to strategically plant within it. You want to make sure you keep these in place when you're doing this, because you don't want the wind taking them if you're in a windy area like I am. So I'm going to put quite a few in here to hold it. And then we are going to plant it to accent it. There. There, I think that looks good, and it's in. So now let's put our plants in here. So this is what we're going with. Ultraviolet orange with my dark brown container. I've put my fertilizer in there already, and we have staked this down. I could not find the honey petunias at all, anywhere. So I went with sunset orange. And quite honestly, these are beautiful. Completely gorgeous, and these are not a proven winter product. They're Picoa Sunset Orange. Look at that brilliance. So we're going to put them in. I shouldn't say them, we're going to put one in, and it's going to be the star of the show at the front. And I'm going to very carefully stick my hands in here to do this. And this is not going to be easy. That's the only thing about doing this kind of work with this orb on. I thought about putting the orb on after, but I'm going to crush things. So it's probably easier if I just go this route and put it in like this and backfill. And I'm just going to use my 2 fingers to push her into place and make sure it's got dirt all the way around it, or soil all the way around it. You can see that there. So tilt that so you can see a little bit better. We're going to jazz things up with a heuchera, Coral Bells Dark. Look at that. This is a cool combo. And this is probably going to go right beside it. And I'm probably going to have to take some soil off the bottom of the container to do this. Look at that. Now, you tell me what you think of that combo. One thing about this, I will come back and I will plant this in the garden when fall comes. Make sure I got that. Okay, that's coming. Okay, so to knock this out of the park, we got to add some lime green. And this is another ipomea we're going to put here. And we're going to put it on the front corner over there. We want it to drape out. So we're kind of pulling in the colors from the container above, but we're kind of doing something different here. So just sneak that in carefully. All right, how's that looking? That is bright, that is bold. Okay, now I just can't have enough plants, so let's add some portulaca. This is a happy hour mix. I love portulaca. Not everybody does, and we have a pink one right here, so we can add that. We're going to spot these throughout the whole arrangement is what we're going to do. Okay, now we're going to add some big color to this. And we're going to add another easy wave to it. And that is not the right tag for this one because it is a deep magenta. You can see the color there. It's almost a purple. So we're going to add that in here along the back. And I'm going right here beside the heuchera. And we need a ton of color in here to make this look full. Now I'm going to add another portulaca in there. It's looking good. Real variety there. Now we need to pop this to the next level. Into the back corner, we're going to add a Bright Lights Double Moon Glow. And it's just starting to open here. That should be really pretty back there. And I'll put on my tags in the pot when I get done because this is a little bit more of a tricky arrangement. Actually, we're going to try to aim this more up close to the center. I'm going to find an area right there where I can put this next to the portulaca and push it down and in. I probably should have put it in first, but that's the way it goes. Either way, portulaca is forgiving. And that's going to give us some height. And then, because I like to honor my color palette a little bit and have them reflect, I think that looks really good with the orange. We're going to come through and we're going to add this, mainly because it needs to be potted. And I'm going to come in here very, very carefully. Take it through my biggest hole that's closest to me. And then we're going to come over here to the back side and we're going to dig it in. I'm going to take a bunch of soil off of it and push that in and aim it out. Come back with that soil, the backfill, and take off some of the dead on it. And then it's overlapping here bad. So I'm just going to train it right now to come across in the center. I'll take those roots out of there. And you can kind of see what's going on there for colors. Now, I need more height in there. So I'm going to come back through here and I'm going to pick out the dark snapdragons. This is kind of a wild arrangement, you guys. I'm going into my creative zone. I call it a creative zone. We're going to find a spot here that's the best for this and put it in. And just do something totally different. And then I think I might take this peach colored one because I'm going to have too much burgundy. Maybe I'll take 3 and offset it. More over here, if I can find a spot. There, right there. Now we're being creative putting these in. Because the center, of course, has the metal in it. But these are all going to fill around it. All right, so we have 2 of those in there. Now I'm going to come back through with my portulaca and put that in there to give it some color. And fill those gaps. So anywhere I have a gap, we're going to fill it, and then we're going to adjust this a little bit. And then we're probably going to spin it. So for anybody who didn't see some of my videos, this orb is from Winners Home Sense. That's where that came from. And I think it was around $40, something like that. You guys can correct me from whoever watched the video. But I think it's got a nice color to it. I sprayed it. It was white. And I sprayed it. I didn't do the video on spraying it, you guys. I just went for it. Because quite honestly, you guys have seen me spray stuff before. All right, so that is done. And I'll zoom out so you can see the two of them. This is what went into that mix. Sunset Orange, Portulaca mixed, the Heuchera, Double Bright Lights Moon Glow, and Gigantor Ipomea. That is what has went into that mix. And of course, the brilliant petunia. For a pop of color, we're going to add some fertilizer to this tray. I already added my soil. And we're going to bring in some petunias in here. And we're going to add some wave. I need to break up this color a little bit. So we're going to add the denim wave petunia. This is one of my all-time favorites. And we're going to pop 2 or 3 in here. Okay, and then we're just going to come through here and give it a little more fertilizer. And I've already drilled holes in this container, in case anybody's wondering. And then we're going to just move it up into the gap. Now, we got lots of color going on here. It's very full. But to make this whole thing pop, we always need to add some white. That's what draws the eyes in. So this is a white wave petunia that we're going to put in here. And we're going to put 2. Because we want it full. And we're going to make this arrangement pop. And they definitely need to go in. So we're just going to stick them in. And I'm going to pull off some of the dead leaves we have here. And then we're going to add some fertilizer. And then I'm just going to pick anything that looks bad back. Now, we're not done. We've got all sorts of stuff going on here. And I'm just going to give it a quick sweep. But we're missing something. So that is planted, and I added the touch of whimsy. Never repeat the same design every year in the same spot, especially for curb appeal. So this is this year's touch of whimsy. I did repeat the pots, I will confess, and the water can, but the rest is all new. And I sprayed the pots so they look good and cleaned them up. I probably could have sprayed the watering can, but it's good enough for this year. And then I added the gnome to welcome people to our home. Now, I wanted to show you guys what I'm using for fertilizer this year. I'm going to try this, the Holland Secret Grow 211. It's for high value crops. And then I've got some fish concentrated liquid fish fertilizer. So those are the 2 I'm going with for my containers this year. So that is the final product. We have our touch of whimsy. We have our color. We have some bright purple to pop out behind the gnome, and then we have our brilliant bright planters. And you can see them all up and close. The gnome is saying welcome. I love it. Our arrangement is done for our front step. Now I still need to add a rug and probably a wreath and stuff, but that'll happen later. But you can see we have our white to draw the eye in. We have our touch of whimsy to make things fun, as well as with the orb, and then we have our brilliant bright colors this year. Lots of oranges and reds and hot pinks and purples. Definitely the mix of cut and come again zinnia colors that I'm applying to this for my Caribbean themed flower colors this year. And lots of my favorite, which is orange. Let me know in the comments what you think. She's definitely bold and beautiful. Here's a close-up of how everything looks. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. That is what I'm doing for my curb appeal for my front step containers. And I really added wild colors and put them all together and made them interesting. I think they'll be gorgeous. I think they'll be bright. And we need some brightness around here. We need some sun. So this should help. Thank you everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.